für einen Podcast. Ich bin Anastasia von der Première G.
Ich bin Danisa von der Première G.
Ich bin Donna aus der Première D.
Und ich bin Lynn auch aus der Première D.
So, Leute, wir haben den Herr Vargas hier bei uns und hier möchten wir mal ein paar Fragen stellen. Und zwar ist der Herr Vargas ein Austauschprof aus Amerika. Und ja, let's start.
Hello, Herr Vargas.
Moin.
Where in the US are you from and what's special about that place?
So this is always an interesting question because I moved around a lot. So, well, first I was raised in Costa Rica. So I was until I was 12. Then when I was 12, I moved to Florida. And then I spent a year in Florida. Then I moved to New Jersey. I spent 6 years in New Jersey, 6 or 7. Then I went to school in Massachusetts, which is where I went to university. And then the past 2 years I lived in California.
All over America.
Yeah, so I experienced all places quite a bit. I think right now I'll talk about probably New Jersey and Massachusetts. I can put them in the same place because they're very similar to Luxembourg. In the summer it can be really hot and humid, and then in the winter it is freezing and raining and snowing. But for me that's always special because New Jersey is essentially the place where I settled in the US because I was in Florida for very little. So I still felt like an immigrant, like not knowing what's happening with my life. And then and then I got to New Jersey. I went to high school there. I played sports there. I built my life there. And so New Jersey will always be close to home for me, and my family still lives there. My dogs are still there. And then California, I loved California because it was really fun, really cool, great weather, but also my first time fully living alone, where my closest family member was a 6-hour plane ride. It was a pretty scary experience, but it also built me to be more independent and I guess who I am today. Yeah. And it gave me the courage to not be afraid to move to Luxembourg.
Yeah. Well,
so
move here.
Yeah.
You live here.
I live here. I'm living here for a year. You know, I've been here more than 3 months already, and I'm teaching at the school until end of June, I think. And then I might stick around for the summer just to travel.
Live together, hopefully.
Your last year.
Hopefully, like I said.
So we'll graduate together.
Yeah.
We'll see you at the how's it called? Dinner dance party at the party.
There's the party at the end.
Oh yeah.
It's like prom.
It's not like
It's similar.
You cannot compare it to prom.
The teacher's gonna be all drunk. That's,
really?
That's the day where the students and the teachers they drink together.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Only motivation.
Another question we asked ourselves was, are we given a false impression of education in America?
I actually find that students here are very well educated. Like there's obviously like things that you see in shows which like High School Musical, like obviously school in the US is not going to be like High School Musical, but things like prom and like football games and all of that, it is quite true. And I feel like students have a very good idea of what schools are in the US. The only thing that I think might not be very accurate is, well, I would say it's a fair question to ask, but I think I've been asked many times if I have been in a school shooting, something that I've been talking about in my classrooms quite a bit. Like today I gave a lesson on gun violence, but I think, I don't know, I've honestly been really impressed by the amount of knowledge that students have about high schools there.
No, but like it is a big topic here because we hear all the time, even from our English teacher, like the gun violence in the US. It's like very present, and
it's a big problem that has for years has not been addressed, and it's seen worldwide.
And we were like shocked because we didn't see that here. We don't know what that is. Like
good.
Thank God.
I'm glad that you don't.
Yeah, but like we don't know, and like every time we hear something happened, we're like shocked, and we can't imagine. Like
it's hard to imagine because we never had some
experience.
Yeah, we never had a situation where we had to go in lockdown or something.
Good.
Like that.
Yeah.
Really scary to imagine.
Yeah. No student should go to school feeling afraid. Yeah. So you have like preparation, which is the lockdown essentially, where they'll announce on the speakers, and they'll say we're on lockdown. Sometimes you don't get told if it's a drill or if it's real. You don't get told the purpose of the lockdown, but all students know that to lock the door and get in the corner of the room, and then the teacher will put a piece of paper on the window saying like what class this is, how many students, and so on. So it's very scary. Yeah, going to the school in the U.S. In general, I'm glad that nothing really happened, nothing special happened, but it's just weird when students have some sense of fear, and parents as well have some sense of fear of that they'll be going to school and never going back home.
What do you think makes American schools unique compared to others around the world?
So I guess I'll begin with the negative to end in a positive, because I like ending in a positive. The negative is I think schools can be really ignorant. Like here, what I love about the curriculum is that you learned about mental health, you learn about the environment, you learn about crime and conflicts, you learn about even like body image, things like that. It's all in the curriculum to give you a very well-rounded, I guess, education. Whereas in the US, it can be extremely limited for many reasons. Most of the history or the society-related topics are focused only on the US. If you learn some world history, it's only related to World War or the Cold War or something like that. But it can be really limited, and it's especially concerning in several different states, because depending on which state you're on, you will learn different things. So a state that is more religious will have the Bible in the school, and you'll learn maybe things from the Bible or whatever, and those usually tend to be more conservative, so you don't get to learn about abortion rights or climate change.
Yeah.
So it can be really, really limited, which is one of the reasons why Americans are known for being very ignorant.
Yeah.
So it's all centered around the US. And as somebody who grew up in Costa Rica, I had a lot of trouble adjusting to that. Because even when I was raised in Costa Rica, I learned about all sorts of perspectives. So I think that's really concerning to me. Nevertheless, there's a lot of positives. I think a positive that I really enjoyed about the US, which you may have seen from shows, is the school spirit.
Yeah.
So you play sports for the school. So I played 2 sports for the school, and you go to games, and everybody has like something, like a shirt or something that says the school's name and like your club. So if you had, if you were
Popular
in the
girls.
school, but if the 4 of you were in the school in the US, it would be very likely that you would have a shirt or a sweater saying like something with the podcast or something like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh no,
Um,
we would be the nerds.
So, no, it's really cool. I really enjoy that, because that helps like create a lot of friends, a lot of relationships, and like it just changes the environment quite a bit. You get to go to football games, all sorts of experiences. You also have like a spirit week at the school where everybody wears specific colors or they compete to be the best class. I think it just gives you more of a fun experience outside of the classroom.
I think that's like the American dream
Yeah,
for a
like in
student here.
shows.
Yeah, for every like exchange student, I think like that's the reason why they want to go to the US and see the US, because
Yeah.
it's not like here, like we have a good education and everything, but I think like the school spirit, it's not, well, it's present, but definitely not like.
You have also these big football games in American schools with the cheerleaders and everything.
Hot
Or is that
players.
just
No, that is
really-
absolutely true. So football games are very fun. They're always Friday nights, and every football game has the cheerleaders. They like during the game they cheer, and then at halftime, if they want, they can also do a show. Yeah, the football games are a lot of fun because there's always a theme tied to it. So in October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So one night of October, everybody wears pink. And then when you go to the game, you have to pay to get in. All that money gets donated to that cause. There's also whiteout, there's neon night, there's all sorts of themes for football games, which is just a lot of fun. During the day, the football players have to wear their uniform that Friday, which is kind of weird to me because I wouldn't want to be wearing my uniform the entire day. Like I wake up at 8, I put on the uniform, and then my game is at 7 p.m. I don't want to be wearing my uniform for 11 hours. But it's such a fun vibe to go to. So
We even have a cheerleader here that has been to America.
Oh yeah, it's true.
been?
I've been to America this year. Yeah, that was this year. But okay. It was in April and May for the Summit Championship. That's like the World Championship of cheerleading.
ooh, how'd it go?
We got second place.
Nice.
So it was
Congrats.
really good.
And where was it?
It was in Florida.
Ah, cool.
Yeah.
Was it in
It was in
Orlando?
Orlando, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I
So
know
I
they
can
do
say
big
it's
competitions there.
Yeah, it was so cool. It was a great experience.
Was that at the World of Sports
Yeah.
place? Oh yeah,
At
I've been there.
ESPN.
When I lived in Costa Rica, actually, I played a tournament there.
Really?
Yeah, so I've also been there. It was really cool.
Really.
Soccer.
Yeah. Although I will say I call it football because I was raised in Costa Rica. We call
okay.
it,
Okay,
so we call it
so
football.
even
Yeah.
better.
I had like to translate and to think like what's called.
I know.
in the
I
US.
can never get used to saying soccer.
Yeah.
Being completely honest.
You look like an Arsenal fan.
I'm sure you knew that already. How did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Research,
Yeah, research.
Yeah.
Research.
I'm
Yeah,
a
because
very,
we're nerds
very
and we
big
have to
Arsenal fan.
research.
Yeah. To the next question. How has teaching abroad impact your perspective on education and culture in America? Are there any teaching methods or ideas you've brought back with you?
Something you like want to bring back to the US,
Like
that
you learned here.
Mm.
And you like want to use that in the U.
Well, definitely implementing a more well-rounded curriculum, as we mentioned, because there's especially things like mental health or the environment. Those are really, really important things that we continuously see as a problem, an ongoing problem. And especially with the new administration in the US, that's something that's going to change quite a bit. And also emphasizing more the importance of languages, because here, to me, it's fascinating and pretty insane how you're learning 4 languages at the same time, essentially. A lot of students even more. Whereas in the US, you maybe get 1 or 2 years of Spanish or French, and then students may not have a clear idea of just how valuable that is and how big the world is and how much it opens up your mind just to know a different culture or different ideas or a different language, and really emphasize that and take that to the classroom.
We complain a lot about all the languages we like have to learn here in school, but
French.
afterwards I'm very thankful
Yeah.
that I get to learn all these languages, especially afterwards to go to university. I
Yeah.
think that's a big privilege. And
Yeah, for sure.
It is.
Yeah.
So, how does Luxembourg's multilingual environment affect the classroom, and how do you manage it as a teacher?
Well, I would say it can be difficult. I can think of 2 scenarios. So one, I have a classroom that's a CLIJA classroom. So it's students who are new to Luxembourg. They might not speak the languages very well. And that one's pretty complicated because they come at all different levels and they all get put in the same classroom. And I'm glad that I'm there because I take that on with Mr. Panacchio and support him as much as I can, so he can maybe spend some time with some students, I can spend some time with others, or we can think through lessons together. But it can be really challenging just because I know some French, and so some of the classes that I've led, I have done it mostly in French, but I'm also limited, and so when I want to explain something as best as possible, I can't.
Yes.
And so I also feel the way that you feel sometimes when you want to say something in English, but you don't know.
Yeah.
And so I very much understand exactly what you're going
When
through.
you're like under pressure and you don't find the right word immediately,
Exactly.
and you like, yeah.
Exactly.
And then you start stuttering.
And
Yeah,
so-
but like I think it's the same thing for us in every
Yes.
language. Like for me in French, like here it's also like a thing. Either you're good in German, yeah,
Yeah,
you can speak like good German or French. And I'm on the German side, definitely. And so when I have to speak like French, and here that happens like very often, even to go to the shop or something,
Yeah.
I'm always
Everything
like,
is
fuck.
basically on
Oh.
French here.
Yeah, and I'm always
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
oh
I've
wait,
noticed that.
I have to find the words. So yeah,
Yeah,
we understand how
it's-
you feel.
It's challenging, but I'm glad I have Mr. Panacchio because whatever I can't come up with, he can translate.
Yes.
But also on the other side of like just all of my other classes where most students speak Luxembourgish, what's challenging is like when I've taught before, I like to listen to whispers. Not because I'm nosy. I wouldn't say I'm not nosy, but mostly because when you hear students whispering, you can hear their answers, and sometimes you hear the right answers, and so you want to highlight that. You want to highlight that because that's first for everybody to know the right answer, but also to give the student confidence, because hopefully next time they won't have to whisper it. But also when whispering, you can also hear where students are confused. And if they're whispering or talking in Luxembourgish, I don't know. And so a lot of times I have the students help me, which has been great so far. The students are super kind and super interactive, or Mr. Panacchio, but I wish I could be more efficient or effective with that. But again, I'm limited by the language. And then it's
I always whisper because I'm scared that the teacher puts me down, but because sometimes it happens that teachers are really
yeah.
They're really mean
I
sometimes.
well, one more Have you picked up any local slang or expressions that you now find yourself using all the time? Any that all make you laugh?
I would say,
Besides moyen.
I like Adi as well.
Adi.
I find myself saying ne.
Nee.
Which is like, I'm like,
what hair means?
no.
Hair.
Or like when you're confused.
Yeah, like
I hear
hè?
students do
And
that
now
all
you
the
know.
time.
Yeah.
Now
It's
you
like,
know.
huh?
Yeah.
So I like that one a lot. I've heard tip top quite a bit.
Tip top.
I haven't started using that one though.
Yeah, we don't hear that often actually.
Yeah, I haven't started using this one though. And I picked up that I always use all the time, and people love it. Is so when you say buy, you typically say choose.
Yeah.
But the old people would say like Chuzikowski. So I've been saying that to everybody because I'm committed to bringing it back. So I love that one. I know
That's a good
not
one.
Luxembourg.
So we want to thank you
Thank you.
for being here, for
Very
like
nice.
taking your
A lot
time
of fun.
and answering the questions. It was very interesting, and
Yes.
we learned like a lot about U.S.
Yes,
high schools and
definitely.
everything. So thank you very much for being here.
Of course. Thank you for having me. I'm really honored that you asked.
Tschüssikowski. So, leider ist unser Podcast auch schon oben angekommen. Ich hoffe, es hat euch gefallen.
Ich hoffe, du bist genauso interessiert wie uns.
Wenn ja, like, share und subscribe.
Und hinterlasst gerne einen Kommentar.
Bis zur nächsten Folge. Adi!